That's that. Thank you for the 5. Still hysterical when Aljo recognized you? Yes. That was good. Thank you for the 2. At least in video form. He hasn't seen me in real life. But yeah, what was the... What else was I going to say? Charles Oliveira submitting Gamrot on a week and a half's notice. Way more impressive than Islam sitting Moicano. Aljo recognizing me. The funniest moment, chat, of like an interaction between me and a fighter, in my opinion. Obviously, Moicano called me out in the UFC, which was a big thing and a huge deal. But when Josh Thompson had his phone up to his face like this, and he was playing the audio of me doing the Chandler's Kids impression. That is the hardest I've ever fucking laughed. In the video, I didn't laugh as much. But when I first saw that, before the video was made, and I made my response to it, I was laughing so fucking hard, man. He was genuinely furious. Like... And it's such a weak joke. You know? And Josh Thompson was so angry, but John McCarthy was trying not to laugh. You know? It was so strange. That was the funniest thing. I was dying of laughter when I saw that. Fat John pretended to be mad. I know, Fat John. Big John pretended to be mad, but he looked like he was trying not to crack up at some point when I did the shit, man. Come on, man, shut your bitch ass up, man. And then John McCarthy went, come on. And he kind of looked off to the side, and Josh Thompson's like this, holding the phone up. That was fucking one of the funniest moments, man. Turn that off. Yeah, turn that off. Come on. Yeah, Big John McCarthy was a cop in like the fucking 80s, so. Sorry, did I go too far on a black joke, dude? What have you been up to in your prime, John McCarthy? I swear he was a cop, an LA cop in the 80s. So, sorry, did I take it too far with a joke about black people, dude? I wonder what you've been up to, bud. It isn't a joke about his kids. It's like the dynamic. It's like the Jim Carrey meme with his black kids. It's like a dynamic of it. I didn't target them or name them or insult them. I just did a joke about the dynamic of like a white man growing up with black sons. It's like that's barely anything in my opinion. But yeah. Thank you for the 5. Reach behind you and prove the wall is far. I've really badly sawed up my shoulders, so I can't really reach all the way back right now. But yes, it's far behind me. Thank you for the 2. I could even try and do it with this knife, if you want extra proof. I don't know why it looks so close. It's really far behind me. I'm not even kidding. Do you hate Brendan Schaub? No, I've spoken about this before with Brendan Schaub. I think he's like very mockable and like insultable because he is flawed with some of his tall tales. But yes or no, chat, every American comedian is a liar. Oh, really? That happened to you and it was the funniest thing ever? Really? That shit just happens to you every week? They're all lying. It's just Brendan Schaub did it to make himself look good. So he's quite unlikable in moments. But I don't think he's a horrible person. I've never heard anything to make me think that Brendan Schaub is a horrible person or an evil person. Brendan Schaub doesn't have, like, beat up his wife allegations or, you know. He got into, like, a college fight once and he threw some guy through a glass window. And people made him out to be, like, a horrible, horrible person for it. And I'm thinking, he got into a scuffle in college and pushed a guy through a glass window. Like a glass door, sorry. Not through a window like it's on the second floor. I think Brendan Schaub is just funny to hate, but that doesn't make him evil, you know? So I don't think he's a bad person. Didn't he save a family from a burning car? He's a massive douche. Okay, call him a massive douche all you want and like you don't like his person. But that doesn't make you horrible, you know? Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he did. you know? I don't think he's a horrible person by any means, but maybe unlikable. But the problem is, chat, yes or no, he's so funny to not like that it just became a bigger thing because he's so funny to not like, right? Because he's constantly referencing it and getting annoyed by it and like messing up his words when he's trying to do this or that. So he was just so hilarious to not like, right? So it made it a bigger thing. But in reality, you should hate people more than Shorb is hated because they're genuinely worse people. But they're not as fun to hate. So it's not like a fun pastime to do the fucking homeless cat fucking subreddit thing. You know what I'm saying? John Africa. Yeah, he meant to say John in Africa, right? But he just skipped a word, you know? Oh, go ahead. How would Conor have done against Khabib if he didn't break his toe? It's not about if he didn't break his toe. I think that version of McGregor wouldn't have beaten Khabib. I do think McGregor could have beaten him if it was the Khabib that fought Al Iaquinta and the McGregor that would have been on like a 5-month turnaround after the Alvarez win. I think he could have chinned him there. So I would have loved to have seen McGregor fight Khabib before the boxing move for a year or 2. Wasn't it 2 years that he did the boxing move for? If he would have just stayed in that mode, I reckon he could have got Khabib. But then Khabib made big improvements as well once he hit championship level. The McGregor that fought Poirier the second time versus Khabib, he had that lower boxing stance and his clinch game looked great as well. I feel like he could have given Khabib trouble. Yes, man. No, not Poirier the second time. No. Thank you for the 10. Nah, I'm good. No, not based on the Poirier rematch and trilogy performances. I'm not saying that. I appreciate you teaming up with me, but not that fight, no. I think if he goes on past the Alvarez fight. Chat, remember when he was shuffling in and out of range against Alvarez? Not when he dropped him. There was a left hand that he landed on Alvarez where he was reaching with his hands like this. And he went shimmy, shimmy, in, bang, and cracked him with this left. I was thinking, dude, that McGregor sleeps Khabib, or at least gives him a way better fight. You know? Did you see Lucy Nkita's post on Pitbull? Didn't he say something like, all this talking about ranked opponents, but you were scared about 1 kg or something like that? Lucy Nkita, let me just break it down for you. I was big on the Lucy Nkita hype train, yeah? You're not in the UFC. You've done nothing in the sport of MMA. I was big on the Lucy Nkita hype train. You're not even in the UFC. You've done nothing in the sport of MMA. You've won some regional fights. Comparatively to Pitbull, you've done nothing in the sport of MMA. You were given Pitbull in your UFC debut, a ranked opponent in your UFC debut. Patricio Pitbull took that fight with you on short notice, knowing you weren't even ranked, knowing you weren't even in the fucking promotion, knowing you didn't even have a single UFC win, knowing it did nothing for him. He flew to Paris, France, a neighboring country to where you had success. Basically a home field advantage for you as well. And you didn't even have the fucking discipline to make weight for that fight. Shut up. All of the shit that was handed to, and Pitbull did. And he didn't and you know what? Pitbull was probably like, fuck this guy, man. I did all of this. I took the fight. I flew across to his side of the woods, his neck of the woods. I'm the legend. I shouldn't even be fighting Lucy Nkita right now. I'm coming off a win over Dan Ige. I should be looking for a ranked opponent. You're not in the UFC. All of that shit. He took it on 2 weeks' notice. Can't even make weight. And then you have the audacity to stand there and say, you're not going to take it even just a couple pounds of weight and you're not going to take the fight? Yes. Fucking hell, man. I've never understood his argument now. Jesus Christ. How much more shit did you have to have handed to you? You know how giving that was of Pitbull to even give the opportunity, and you still spat in his face by not making the weight? It's disgusting. I saw that on Twitter. It pissed me off. Probably said, but Movzar Volk announced. Ooh, I haven't seen that announced anywhere. Hey Porky wanted to stop by to say John is the GOAT. Yes. Thank you for the $2. No, I haven't seen that that's been made. Thank you. John is not the GOAT, by the way, at all. CTE Volk versus BJ Penn. Okay. Thank you for the 2. CTE Volk wins that any day. BS fake news. In any way, it does seem likely because Lerone Murphy chat, yes or no, is starting to sound like he's not getting a title shot. He said things time for a holiday, and he said, I don't matter what. It doesn't matter what happens. I will be a champion one day. So it's kind of like he's saying things on Twitter like he's just had news that he's not fighting for a title. So it could be Evloev. It could be number 1 ranked in the world. It might be fake news, but they might be putting it out there because they're noticing like, oh shit, it probably is going to be Evloev. Let me get ahead of the news. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a narrative in that, right, chat? It's a Volk versus a Dagestani. And I think he could beat him. Charles got to finish without getting dropped first. That is wild. But again, Gamrot didn't have the power to drop him. This was, chat, yes or no? The Oliveira pick was a no-brainer, right? What were the odds? I always find that interesting because sometimes there is a no-brainer. Obviously, Pereira comes in, looks like a new version of himself against Ankalaev. But there are a lot of things. Oh, it's dead even? Was it really evens? Fuck, you know what, yeah? The problem with gambling, chat, yeah, is that you end up doing it so much. If you could, like, limit yourself and have that much self-control with it to be like, those are just incorrect odds. Charles Johnson's fighting Lona Kavanagh and he's a plus 300 underdog or some shit. You know what I mean? Figueiredo's plus 300 against Jackson. There are certain just incorrect odds, but you just got to wait for them. But people get caught up in the gambling every week. So they get the losses as well because they feel like, well, the fights are on. I got to put something on it. But if I was a gambling man, I would have put so much money on Oliveira as a slight, ever so slight favorite there to finish as well. Man, that's interesting. Next options for O'Malley. Corey Sandhagen if he waits, but he shouldn't. I think he should fight Cejudo. Song Yudong is there, and that is a high-ranked matchup for O'Malley. And if he wants to get a title shot off a win, that's the best chance he's got of doing it. But he should never get a title shot off a one-fight win. I nearly said streak. It's not a streak. But he is ranked number 1 at Bantamweight, so that's interesting. Yan just moved up above Umar. How was he ever below Umar? Fucking Umar Nurmagomedov, man. The fucking bias, I swear. He also beat Sandhagen in a much more entertaining decision. Maybe less, more competitive, but still. Yeah, Yan being below Umar is crazy. He can't do it just based on the Marab fights, man. He served his time in this division. He's a literal former fucking champion, for fuck's sake. So yeah, Song Yudong's probably the highest ranked guy O'Malley will go for, and I think he would beat Song Yudong as well. Cejudo landing that much on Yudong on the stand-up must have been a good sign for O'Malley. And Cejudo's number 10 in the rankings, so yeah, it might have to be Song Yudong. Maybe Davison Figueiredo. Who knows? Mario Batista might be good, yeah, but if he beats Umar, then he trains with O'Malley, so I don't know if they would want that matchup. They would have to resort to that matchup. Thank you for the 5. Bisping. English, buddy. Pinto. No speaky blue. Right, so anyways, old chap, I got him by the... Alright, and beat the Nando's out of him. Thank you for the $5. Yes, got jolly good, sir. Yeah, Mario Pinto. I know speak English. I try my best to speak English. So, Reginald, I want to talk to you about these recent situations in which I defeated a man inside the cage, old boy. So if we could really get to the point of this conversation and really navigate the communication territory correctly, maybe we can discuss some things moving forward, yeah? Such a good thing. That was good from Mario Pinto. As soon as I saw it, I was like, dude, that's going viral. He did that so well, you know? Well, Michael, my old chum, we have a lot to discuss here, so if you'll give me the microphone, I'll be sure to enlighten you on a few situations that have unfolded in the past recent history, you know. I want to thank out my team for doing the night shift for me and the build-up here. He should have really leaned into that side of it. That would have been really funny, but it was still good. Anytime I imagine an old Englishman, I always imagine him with like a pipe, you know? Yes, they're jolly good, you know. I defended you on Twitter and got called a dick eater for it. Don't defend me on Twitter, dude. Twitter, Reddit, it's all just gay people, man. Just leave them. Yeah, I mean, don't get caught up in that defending me, man. It's fucking gay as fuck. Thank you for the $5. I don't know. Everyone who like roasts me, I just look at the profile and I think, you're just gay, man. Like, it's tough, you know? Or like not white. So it's just like, you're supposed to hate me. You know what I mean? I don't mind. So don't get caught up defending me on Twitter or shit. Sometimes I'll see something like that and I don't sit there and think, yeah, get him. I just think, don't get caught up in this bullshit, you know what I mean? Is the video of you kissing Kenny Okoye AI? Yes, if there is that video out there, it's AI. It is very weird. Oh my God, I got attacked by a hive of fucking ladybirds today. I didn't realize they were literally attack helicopters for insects. I didn't realize it at all. I did not realize it at all. They are legitimately attack helicopters of insects. I didn't realize how bad and pesty they can be. I've only ever seen one ladybird before, or ladybug, whatever you guys would say. Today I was hit by a swarm of them. They were trying to get in. It was scary. Ladybird, ladybug, ladybird. Same, we call them ladybirds in the UK. Would Paddy's best option right now be getting ready to fight Arman in case Dan pulls out, which there's still a decent chance of happening? Paddy Pimblett is never going to be the fighter to step in on short notice. That is unfortunate, but that is how it is. If it's like 4 or 5 weeks notice and he's got a long build up for it, maybe. I just don't think he's going to be like getting ready to step in because he's too fat in a way, like out of training camp, but also like to get him into shape for a fight, I think he needs to know it's going down. You know? It's one of those types of things. But he could miss out on this whole thing, so. But maybe if Arman beats Hooker, they won't make the Gaethje versus Topuria thing, and they'll do Gaethje versus Pimblett, which is equally a big fight, so we'll see. People forget, man, cliff dwellers are all inbred roid cheats. That's why they all ride John Jones's dick so hard. I don't think that's what it is. I think they just beat their wives, so they sort of respect Jones for doing it, you know? Everyone else was kind of like, whoa, John Jones, what a piece of shit beating up his wife. But the Dagestanis were wondering about technique. You know what I'm saying? So when you beat her, how you get the blood to hit her chin? You know, they say your own daughters had to run to call police. How you make sure you pull off the good enough hit to make sure they run and know the fear? You know, because you have to have that fear in them young. Thank you for the 5. How does Max versus Charles go? I'll go Oliveira, chat. Who else is very impressed with his takedown entries that he's added to his game? Even when he went for it on Ilya and went for the 50-50 throw, I was like, oh my God, dude, he's strong in this double under position. He's never been like that before. He always used to shoot in and try and get the back from it and fail to take down. Like, he was never picking up Gaethje and dunking him or getting his hands behind the arse of Poirier and getting his hands connected and dunking him down. It was very throw and trip oriented, but he's now like getting in on the hips, hands connected, picking him up. Picking up Gamrot like that, even though Gamrot balanced and stayed in a good position and then eventually gave up his back anyway. His entries are a lot better. So I think he would get down Max and sub him early. Max piecing up Charles? No, I don't think so. Justin and Dustin dropped them respectively, and Max is stronger than... You have really bad takes. No, you've been trying to... If you've been trying to say this the whole stream, then you do have bad takes. No, Poirier and Gaethje have more pop, especially in the primes where they fought Oliveira. Holloway's not going to drop him in the first round. I don't think, anyway. I don't know. I think he'll actually be able to get takedowns because his offensive wrestling has massively improved. And watching Ilya shooting on the hips of Holloway, pick him up and dunk him on the ground like that in round 1, with Oliveira's pressure early, I can see that working for him. Max Holloway has turned into a trash talker since the KO. Yes. Thank you for the 2. He has, hasn't he? He really has gotten a lot more bitter. He was saying, you know, Oliveira did some BS injury. He's 1-0 down. We got some shit to solve. I like it, though. I like that energy from Holloway.
I know, bro. I know. I know already. I see the chat. We know, bro. We hear, bro. We heard the call out. Tell him. Only time will tell now, bruh. Type of fight, the White House. That's so long to wait. It'd be such a long wait, you know what I mean? Ain't making no promises though. It'd be a fun one. And we've been talking about this fight. Me and him have a history. He's blaming it on some type of injury. I guess we get to figure it out now. Huh? My hand is good. Not good. My hand is getting better. And we're just waiting to get cleared. I haven't really got back on the mats yet. I've been doing some strength and conditioning, but that's about it. Be back sooner than later. So